Okay, chat. Sorry about the delay. So, as always, a quick reboot fix everything. How'd you like to get your name in the paper? The Stormzy Chronicle is looking for help covering the biggest story in town has ever seen. People are disappearing from the streets of the Sulykka district. One day they're there, but the next, poof. They're vanished without a trace. Nobody knows where, and it's driving their friends and family crazy. I've got a good lead on the story, but I need a seasoned adventurer like you to act as my leg man. The Sulykka district? What's that? The Sulykka district is here in Harbor, down the path just behind me. It's normally a quiet place, and now it's gotten a whole lot quieter. My sister told me that many people have been snapped from the district, and it's practically empty. Meet me in the Sulykka district, and we'll bust this story wide open. I'll meet you inside the Sulykka district. Saltier. Not sure how you want to pronounce that, whatever makes you happy. Right. And in we go. And I'm gonna pop my Ireland like a bad. Strong's only channel. Strong's only. If you ever hear me making those references, that's reference to the early days of DDO. I shouldn't even say early because that was 5 years into its lifespan. But back in the early days of DDO, you used to see all kinds of posts which would say things like no bad, strongs only, solo a tower, be a boss or don't click, all kinds of weird things, you know, from this really elitist thing, which is hilarious since the game is, if anything, even more, you know, elite now. Remember to talk to him. I always forget. All right, there we go. So the idea here is that people are being taken, and when I talk to these guys, the first guy's like, there's people that are crazy and we need to know what's going on. So you come over here and you say, oh, this guy's nuts. Here's the Mark of Madness, and we keep moving. The other guy is looking for the Thieves Guild headquarters, if you can find it. So we come in here. Took me a long time to figure out there was a room behind here, so it's amazing how well they actually conceal these things. Because they just kind of, but like, it's not exactly hidden, but it's not exactly obvious either. So they do a pretty good job of that in this game. Now, the traditional path is to cross the bridge over there. Barrel cleared out of here. And these crazy guys, they can appear anywhere. They're a random spawn, so you can find them all over the place. Now, normally the standard preferred thing is that you come across here and you go over there, but most people don't do that. A lot of what we do, because it's kind of an open quest, is you come over here and you're like yoink, and you jump down here, and you kind of go through the quest backwards. It does allow for that possibility, which is kind of interesting. Clever game design. Don't get closer, he eats your brain. Everything's also in the prison. And then we come over here. It took me a long time to figure out, chat, that the reason why my DPS was so god-awful yesterday was because that I had taken my bloodstone off, and so my set bonus was missing and my seeker bonus was missing. So lessons learned, always make sure you switch back your trinket. I was thinking, wow, it's taking me forever to clear these quests. I don't know what's going on here. And then it turns out that I just didn't have my gear on. Yeah, that's a bad time. Gentle sound of douchebag showing up. So, the problem is right now, I can't actually do much of anything because I have to stay around here or else this is going to aggro on me and I will go over that. He is standing around doing nothing but spamming. Of course, they're all rogues and they all have evasion, which means that they're ducking all the damage from my multi-vial. saves, even though the tooltip says that it's a fortitude save, it is in fact not a fortitude save. It is a reflex save. All multi-vials are reflex saves. And that is very, very frustrating. Because despite what Voodoo will tell you, most of the mobs in this game hilariously high reflex saves. Like preposterously high reflex saves. And no small number of them, including Reapers, also have evasion. And what that means is that if they make a successful save, they take no damage at all. And if they have improved evasion, which some do if they're rogues or monks, that means that they would, even if they fail the save, they would take half damage. So that actually became a massive crisis for a while, even back in the days of Epic Elite. And that was the hardest possible content, is that you basically couldn't land anything, any spell with a reflex save on any monster in the game because they were so incredibly strong in all their save, and their reflex in particular. And so you had people building around it because they're just like, I can't get past them, couldn't grind past their saves. And that was very frustrating. And so one of the things that they have been addressing with the recent changes is bringing the monsters come back into line, because some of it was just outrageous. So you'd go through and you found this out quickly, or at least I did, when I had a sorcerer. I took her into a quest that had a lot of Drow, and the Drow all had evasion, and in addition to having evasion, they all had spell resistance, and like not a little spell resistance, like a lot of spell resistance. And so even if you were landing the saves, you were seeing a lot of blue flashes from spell resistance. And that just destroys immersion, it destroys the fun. So they did address that, at least they brought their spell resistance down a little bit. But I mean, bringing it down from like 90 to 70 isn't helping you all that much. The highest spell penetration in the game possible is, I believe, 76? 74
The
or
last
76,
entry in the
somewhere around
account
there.
book reads,
And
8 dozen sturdy iron cages, warranted to hold prisoners, ordered by Mr. Smythe and paid in full.
And they were like CR 60 Drow, so they had like 90 spell resistance, so there was literally no way to blast through it. So this isn't a rare, well, I shouldn't say rare, he's always here. This is an optional boss. You literally don't have to fight him, and so I won't, because it's not worth the grief. I mean, I think I could get a Hellhound Hunter for killing him, but it takes a long time. And it's frustrating, so I'm not gonna bother.
The final entry in the diary reads, this Smythe fellow is involved in questionable activities, but I'll use the Borson name to keep the guards away, so long as he keeps sending platinum my way. In any case, no one will notice the disappearance of some common street rat.
So seeing the ones that has also become a staple of DDO, you'll notice that all these things are spamming Cyclonic Blast. That's that hurricane wind you see, and that has also been a point of contention with the player base for a very long time. The spell itself is broken. It's supposed to allow a reflex save, but you always take damage from it, which is untyped damage no matter what. And so naturally, they gave it to every goddamn trash mob and trash caster in the game, especially at high levels, and it made a lot of players very unhappy. And again, we know the spell's broken, the devs know the spell's broken, and it's one of those things that has not been addressed. So anyway, apparently I'm stuck on a ladder now. In the defense of the developers, DDO is a very complicated game, and there are a lot of moving parts, and it is I would be, I guess it's effectively impossible. Let's just say it like it is. It's just effectively impossible to be on top of everything at all times. So we do rely a lot and heavily on the player base to be giving them feedback. Although it does get frustrating when you're trying to give feedback and then they say that's not right. It's working just fine, and you're like, no, it really isn't. It really isn't working just fine. There's a problem with it, and it needs to be fixed. So if you're one of those people that needs to, or feels the need that you need to give some feedback, first thing is constructive feedback always helps. Don't tell somebody you suck. That's not helping anyone. So you have to set examples, and you have to show what it is. So the best way to do that is kind of like what Sturm Tom does. He gives positive reinforcing feedback while pointing out what it is that actually needs to be fixed. And then he usually films it in gameplay to show people what's going on, and then there's no guesswork. Here's what happened, and here's the effect. And that way you say, oh, okay, I can fix that. And that gets a lot more stuff done. I mean, it's the old you catch more flies with honey thing. I mean, if you want to get it fixed, screaming about it doesn't help anyone. So, it doesn't help you, it doesn't help the developers, it doesn't help you. And that's true with games as in life. If you want to get something done, you have to do it in a manner that's not going to make people go and hit you in the face with a shovel. Seriously? So you gotta watch out for those guys, chat. Those souls of cruelty are a bad time because they spam poison damage, and it's and this build doesn't have particularly any fast way to heal itself. And even as I was frantically going through to hit the button to target myself for a heal, it And that is what's lovingly referred to in the lexicon in the game as a bad champ. You get a guy that's got the wrong combination of abilities on him, and he will absolutely take you to the cleaners quickly. Here. So I'm going to have to run some optionals to make up for the experience I lost. Another mechanic I'm not particularly crazy about, but whatever.
You have found the headquarters of the Swiftfoot gang. The carnage around you shows that somebody else found them first.
so we pull all those levers, and then we come in here, and you're like, oh look, there's a chest over there that's sitting in the middle of a dais, and then, dude, what could possibly go wrong, right? So, if we pop this chest, oh, that was a suspicious noise. So anyway, what we do is we hit this, run over here, and we get control of this entranceway. I think I grabbed this, did I? Did not. This chest can also drop the Turbulent Epee, which is a rapier, and it is aligned and metalline and treason, which lowers threat. For a while, as you can see, chat, it will go from bad to worse quickly. If you are not careful. And sometimes even if you are careful. Here. Now, if you swim down that, down the pipe here, there is a lever, and that would open the gate up. But we came the opposite way, so we don't need to do that. So I'm just gonna show these guys in the take over and get them for me, but it's not doing a whole lot of damage because I haven't invested a whole lot of energy into ramping up its damage. And if I had both of the poison sprays, it would stack, but really what we're using it for more than anything is just to strip any poison immunity you might have. Come on.
You have applied all the marks.
to grab the thing off the desk.
A scrap of paper inside the book reads, Bill of Sale. 12 school children in good condition. Shipped to Mr. Smythe. Payment on delivery.
Alright, so this would be where we would normally rest.
A solitary
Why would you do
warforged
that?
stands in the center of the courtyard. You have finally located the elusive Mr. Smythe.
Gotta run over here. Because you don't get close to him, he doesn't trigger. Let me get a little more comfortable. I can't bear to spend another moment in this hideous disguise. And he dumps the Warforged disguise and oh no, it's a beholder. Unfortunately, this guy's a Chaos Beholder, so I'm not gonna get dispelled. I'm just gonna go ahead. These guys. Good, relax.
You've destroyed the creature responsible for snatching people from the streets of the Saltire district. But who was this odd beholder working for? And what is the purpose of the creatures known as the Taken? One investigation is complete, but another is just beginning.
Okay, now if we were so inclined, what we could do is we could go back and we could report into the two guys that we found all the people with the Mark of Madness and the thing, but all that does is result in an end fight with another chest with junk loot in it, and we don't care about that. This quest does have named loot in it, other than the turbulent